Hi, my name is Luke. I'm a photographer, software engineer, and a visual storyteller. And ever since I started making videos and ever since I started watching Tech YouTube, there's always one thing that has been itching me in the back of my head. Like, how do you quantify a great smartphone? By watching reviewers like MKBHD, people like Mr. Who's the Boss, and the rest, there's always been like, here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillars that make up a great smartphone. But do they actually make a great smartphone? Because when I had personal conversation with people about smartphones in general, there's always been a delta between what I actually hear and what I actually experience from the people. So yeah, this was the main motive for making this video, exploring that same topic exactly. What are the pillars that make up a great smartphone? And from the Pixel 7, which is going to be reviewed by someone else who is outside from the tech space, the answers were, let me see, interesting. So yeah, I hope you enjoy what the actual consumer says about what a great smartphone should have. Ciao.
My name is Mr. Francis Moses, a video editor, a content creator, a computer engineer, but also the CEO of a content creation brand called YBE.
So, back when I was with Francis, I had to ask him that does he know anything about what an average consumer is? And here were his answers.
Yes, I know a bit about an average consumer. By definition, an average consumer is somebody who uses a certain service or certain device not to its full capacity or limits which are set by the provider.
Interesting. Are you an average consumer?
No, I am not an average consumer. I do remember the days when I was roaming around to different shops trying to access and try to plot out the phones. The first question, the first questions which I was asking was, how's the camera quality of this phone? How's the storage? How's the RAM capacity of the phone? So those I can say are some of the few pillars of a good smartphone to me.
Interesting. So, why not just any smartphone? Why the Pixel?
Or the Pixel, currently it is relatively affordable and produces high-end video quality. It's the only phone which does that, which is still affordable. Of course, there are still some phones out there in the market that are more qualified, but when we say relatable to price, it's when the price is equal to the output which you are given. That's why I choose the Google Pixel 7.
I mean, using this Pixel for content creation, in contrast with my Galaxy S10, this image quality is superior, and it makes me wonder, should I add the extra couple bucks to trade in this Samsung Galaxy S10 for the Google Pixel 7, or should I wait till the end of the year to upgrade to the Galaxy S22? I'm still in a dilemma because I am a Samsung guy, but the Pixel.
It's it comes down now to personal preference. I myself am Team Samsung. For most who don't know, so when you say an iPhone, I'm a person who like I will shift songs. I still work with my songs since when I was in grade 4. I still have them. I shift them. I go them. Now, an iPhone doesn't give you that user flexibility. That's why I needed to buy the Google Pixel, which was somehow flexible. I was able to transfer files easier. I was able to download software easier. That's why I picked the Google 7.
Interesting. So, the day that you got your Pixel 7, what were your first impressions?
My first impression on the phone was, first of all, the overall general design of the phone. It is sleek, also very slim, as you can see, compared to my previous phone, which was a Samsung A05s, which was a very huge and bulky phone. So that was my first user experience for the Google Pixel 7. But also the other thing I was wowed about was the how the camera quality was operating. I met up with a new mode called the cinematic mode, which enabled you to blur out a video, which was very new to me, and I was very excited to use that feature, and I still use it till today. The day in life of using a Google Pixel 7, first of all, I have a morning alarm, of which I can say it's a new feature that you can say like stop and it stops making the noise to make you wake up. And immediately after the alarm stops, it starts giving you daily news updates of what's going on around the world, the meetings which you're supposed to meet, maybe your routine and stuff. It starts to speak to you. So that's the first thing, the first useful feature which I've been using lately in this Google Pixel 7. But also, the how easy it is to take a screenshot on this phone is very cool actually. You just double tap at the back and voila, it's already taking the screenshot of what I need. Also, apart from that feature, also there's the feature called the privacy feature. It's called a private locker. Just underneath, after you scroll the files, you find a private locker where you put your private files in private applications which you don't want anyone to access. And this helps me a lot because my phone actually is just like a camera for the content creation brand which I have, YBE. So you find I just give it to any videographer around me. He goes with it to locations where I don't know. So I'm not sure if we can trust each other that much. So that's why I use this feature to hide my private files. But also, I can say the sensitivity of it. It's easy. It is very easy to unlock. It has a face unlock already. So I just, whenever I pick it up, it turns on and scans my face, and voila, I'm in the phone. Another feature which I've been seeing here is I can say I can speak a lot more about the camera because the camera is really great. I talked about it earlier. The blur feature, it's called the blur mode actually, not a cinematic. They've updated to this Android 16, 15, I think. It's now called the blur mode from the cinematic mode, which enables you to take cinematic videos. You know, a video with the blur in the background makes it look more depthy, if you know what I mean. Those content creators understand. Also, another helpful feature of this phone, I can say maybe the downside. Personally, I prefer using wired microphones or earphones. I can say. So this phone doesn't come with the earphone jack. So it was very hard for me to adapt from just using now. I'm just going to using pods on, or I have to buy a USB-C earphone. So that's another downside of the phone. The other thing is super slippery, as you can see here. The surface it doesn't allow flexibility much. It doesn't stick to your hand like how other phones used to. So you have to buy a curve for this. The other thing about this phone, there's a lot of helpful features like this move up. We call it cinematic wallpaper. Whenever you just open your phone, the image moves slightly, but it's a very slight movement, but it adds a certain feel into putting the interactivity into the phone. The other feature about this phone, I can say there's a lot of features actually. I'll go into depth with it in further videos, but so far what I can say about this phone is very great, very helpful. The battery storage capacity is great compared to the usage which I use, because I use the camera a lot and it drains a lot of power, but it's still relative. I can use it an entire day without charging. So I can say that's all I can say about the Google Pixel.
Do you by any means think that gear matters in the creative space?
I really do think gear matters in the creative space, but not 100%. I can say 50% is the editing side and 50% is the gear. You can have very poor gear, but you employ 70% of high-end editing. You can just mash it up and make a good finished product, compared to those who have high quality gear and 20% editing. And there's still a difference there. So I can't say that gear is the only thing that matters, no. But it's gear, 50% gear and 50% your editing skills, your storytelling, and the rest. In general, the software and user experience is really great because I haven't faced any lagging lately. And also there's a lot of cool features in terms of gestures, the navigations of it. You can just swipe from app to app very seamlessly. You can work on even 15 tabs open and the phone still operates at maximum capacity. So I can say they really did a great job in the software side of it and also even in compatibility with the hardware.
Interesting. So, do you ever consider upgrading? And if you
Um,
do consider upgrading, what is normally your time range of staying with the device? Is it in years, in months, or take us through?
Sincerely, I was actually planning yet already on upgrading to a Google Pixel 9 because I hear it's also more cooler, more user friendly, more content creator friendly. So I was planning after perhaps 6 months per se. If I want to buy a physical camera, I'll have to buy a Google Pixel 9.
So, do you recommend the phone to anybody who starts upgrading or to anybody who thinks of getting a Pixel?
Yes, I do recommend this phone to anybody who's starting to come into this niche of content creation because it's such an affordable phone and it's such a usable one, user-friendly phone. For content creators, this is a great phone for content creators.
As we wind up, Francis, do you have any words of wisdom that you want to share with us?
My words of wisdom is that most content creators, we have this image in our heads that we have to buy like an iPhone or we have to buy either a camera. No, guys, you can start simple. You can start with this Google Pixel 7. It's such a nice phone, and it doesn't have to be even Google Pixel 7. Even 6, Google Pixel 6 are also great in the market. So just try to start small and growing up and just compound the cash, compound the what so you can get something better.